data quality manager at the University of Kent. I really am at the University of Kent. I'm not saying a different institution, so I don't get sacked for this presentation. And I'm going to speak on the doing almost nothing approach. There's probably other people in the room who are sitting here thinking, I'm in that boat too. And we certainly haven't done nearly anything as much as the people we've seen so far. So hopefully for some of you this will be reassuring. If nothing else, it gives me a chance to have a bit of a therapy session, and you can feel sorry for them. Yeah, that will work. Yes, I did say the do nothing. Yes, I did say the do nothing approach. Why? Well, there's quite a few reasons, and I'm going to go through them very soon. But I have to say that Dan kind of stole my thunder a little bit in his presentation. By doing nothing, we have not been affected by the specification changes at all. That's really very nice. That's about a positive sense. Okay, so why have we been doing nothing? We are in a period of significant institutional change. We had a new vice chancellor last year, a new academic registrar. We are replacing our student record system. More on that in a little while. We also have a plethora of other projects going on in the institution. So to name but a few, we have Simplifying Kent, the lifelong project. We have the Integrated Frontline Student Services Project, the Student Success Project, Virtual Student Advisor Project. We have the Opera Project, improving accessibility to our systems. We have a new library management system. And the list goes on, and the list goes on. And of course, they're not really talking to each other. So that's adding to the complexity. Staffing. Our staffing is, should we say, very lean at the moment. The good news is I have been given the approval to recruit some more bodies to the team. But at the moment, we are a team of 2.6 FTE, and it's not just external returns we cover, we also currently look after the certificate transcripts and hair production. We schedule and help run the university exams as well. So we have quite a lot going on. What else is happening? The organic nature of the current organisational structure. Let's try this one. No? Yes. Hello. I'm back. When I started at the university, it was at the beginning of our student record replacement project in this department in 2013, in the student records department. And I, along with my colleague there, inherited a whole load of work from two people who went out onto the project. In amongst that, we then became a data quality team, but we inherited all this operational stuff as well. Now, part of the plan was with the student data system replacement project that we would also refactor the staffing and reallocate work to appropriate areas. As the student record system project hasn't gone live yet, we haven't got approval for all the new staff we need, so we're kind of bumbling along in this halfway house of we're a data quality team with some extra stuff. Which means that our capacity to actually do a lot of data futures has been quite difficult. So at the moment, I am pretty much the single point of failure when it comes to data futures. So when Alex throws something at me later, if he hits me on my head and knocks me clean out, there could be some problems at the university. My lovely team are awesome. They're both here. But we just haven't had the capacity for them to get heavily involved and keep up to date. Senior leadership recognition and engagement, I'm sure most of you recognise this, apart from the lucky few looking smug right now. They're saying the right words. We absolutely recognise that data futures is very important and that it's a requirement of our OFS registration. But it's not really being followed through with much action. And the connection with other projects in the university and the processes that we have has just not been made by them at the moment. Student data governance, we had an internal audit to look at our students' data governance and discovered we had none. This is the brutal honest version. I thought this was great because if we could do data governance, we could do data futures at the same time, and we could work them all together and kill two birds with one stone. So when we got the internal audit report, there was that very long list of things that you need to do, most of them in the critical area. And so we thought, great, we can do that, you just need to give us more resource. And then there was tumbleweed. And so not only do we have data futures, but we also have a student data governance project to do at the same time with no resource, which we're also not doing. To add to the fun, our university are doing a joint medical school with Christchurch going live in 2020. So I used to go to the East Coast Collection seminars, and I really enjoyed not having to think about the ILR and the FE fields. And I really enjoyed it when we got to the medical bit, because I was like, oh, I can just turn off now. So the first time I went, and they started talking about apprenticeships, I'm not going to worry about that. About a week later, I discovered we had apprenticeships. Same thing happens, went to the next one, went, oh, we don't have medical school, we don't need to worry about that. Then I see in the news, I didn't find out from my own institution. I read in the news that we were going for a medical school. So next time that he needs to run a session and it's got ITT, and I'm paying a lot of attention to that because there is no way I want teachers as well. As well as the medical school, we have a shared course with another institution, and we are taking over the administration of that course for 2020. We're not administering it at the moment. We have a very light touch data feed for that, so we're going to roll that into data futures and all of that. So that'll be fun. Let's go back to the student reference system. We're currently on an in-house system, and that in-house system was built in the School of Computing around the time of dinosaurs. No, seriously, it's coming up for 24 years old, I think, and it's grown very organically. Anyone who has a long-standing in-house record system or has done a lot of custom development will know that these things kind of snowball, and someone goes, oh, I want to do this, and we go, yeah, okay. And so that's been proving a bit challenging. So we are aiming to go to trial 6. Now I mentioned I'm backfill originally for people going out on the project, and I've now been there long enough that I'm sitting on most of the stakeholder groups for it. We were due to go live in September 2016. We were then due to go live in September 2017. We were then due to go live in September 2018. And then we got to June-ish and decided we couldn't go live in September 2018. So we're going live in January 2019. About 5 days before the readiness survey deadline, the rumours start going that perhaps we're not going to be ready for January 2019. So I scrapped my readiness survey, throw that out the window. We're probably, and this hasn't been decided yet, looking at January 2020, which of course is right in time for Data Futures. As you can see from those dates, we thought we'd be on SITS a long time ago. So our whole Data Futures plan was we'll get SITS in, we'll do a first year of return and work out what we've been doing wrong for the last 20 years. And then once we've got that in, we'll set up Data Futures, we'll work out what we need to do, and we'll make all those plans. We'll go out and talk to schools about all their data and how they need to help us by getting data entry right at the point. But that's been somewhat scuppered. So now, as of whenever we had the announcement, which wasn't that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, as well as being excellent at making decisions, and we're excellent at communicating, and so 5 weeks after the decision was made, the announcement was rolled out in a PDF Senior Leadership Forum document that only gets emailed to senior managers. So half the university probably don't even know we're not going live yet. That leaves us in an interesting position. And so current thinking is we have to build it twice. So we're going to have to do Data Futures from our in-house system and Data Futures from SITS. Because if SITS doesn't go live for any reason, if we get all the way there and it goes bang at migration, we've got to be ready to go. And there is no way we can build Data Futures in 3 months. With all the will in the world, I'm not that good. What scares me most about that is that if we do a good job from our in-house system, will it match what we do in SITS? Well, that's actually a very real concern. The two structures between our in-house system and tribal SITS are wildly different. This is part of the reason why it keeps being delayed. They're so different, and I don't think that was recognised early on in the project. And so we're kind of unpicking those different things. And so SITS lends itself to the Data Futures model better than our in-house system. And we are going to probably have to derive a heck of a lot of fields from our in-house system somewhere along the lines to be able to do that. Because to make it even more fun, it runs on a system called Ingress. Any of the geeks in the room will know what that is. For the rest of you, it's software that the bank is a platform that banks used about 25 years ago and are desperately trying to get off. It's very good, but it also costs a heck of a lot of money now to be licensed. And the number of people that know how to build things in the system is running out. We have lost all of our developers who had any serious development experience on our system because we've been going live with SITS next year for many years. And so we've had a development freeze. So we've only been doing the things that are broken, but you would not be surprised at the number of core bugs that come out of the woodwork. 5 years. In 5 years, that must have been a problem for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. We're still finding bugs in strange places. So, building Data Futures in our current record system is going to be a challenge, and we're only just starting to look at that. In the plus side, we know the data well. We derive a lot of our HESA fields already. Stop listening, Rachel Nelson. We derive mode as one example. Even one of our end dates is perhaps derived and not just coming from the end date field. Lots of these things we hope to fix with Data Futures, by going out and talking about it with the schools and helping schools to understand the impacts of it all. Now we're running out of time, and with the resource we've got, that's pretty challenging too. We're also just having to keep the lights on. We've still got HESAs to do, we've still got ECs to do, we've still got the SLC returns to do, we've still got the exam scheduling to do. As I said to Chris earlier, we're currently in a recruitment freeze. And we got an email from the Deputy Vice-Chancellor that said, if you're unable to recruit, then you can consider a reduction in service as one of the options. Okay, which would you like? HESA or exams? The problem is if you do HESA but not exams, they'll all be not completed. So we end up with not doing HESA. We're on an aging student record system. Things go wrong. So we're constantly firefighting things that have done weird things or people have done weird things. We've also lost a lot of institutional knowledge. We're one of those institutions where people stayed there for life. They're now retiring. Okay. So people who've been there for 20 years are retiring, and all that knowledge is gone, and there are no procedure notes. It is not documented. No one has a clue why we were doing something the way we did. We have one school whose administrator left. She'd been there for 15 years. It's become apparent that she was the only one that was using the system at all. It's also apparent that she was fixing some weird decisions that were being made in exam boards so that actually they were correct on the system. So when the new people came in and started putting the decisions from the exam boards into the system, things went a bit funky. That's an extreme example, but that's what we're faced with. The knowledge is gone, there's no documentation. As we're looking at our student record project, understanding why something is happening out in what's quite a devolved environment for us at the University of Kent. Sometimes no one was around when that thing started. So whether they just do it because that's the way they've been doing it, or whether there was a good reason for it when they set up the course, is anyone's guess. This is just a snapshot of what our year looks at the moment. So 2.6 FTE, running that plus. We used to do training, but we've run out of time to do that, so that's really helping with the data quality as well. As you can see, it's quite busy. There's a nice little patch at Christmas where we all go to sleep. But the rest of the time, it's pretty much full on rolling from one thing to the other, and I'm sure most of you have the same problem these days. When I started working at the university in 2007, summer was quiet. I don't know what summer is anymore. It's just this kind of period where all the academics disappear and we just do the rest. One of the headlines there that probably looks a bit scary is entrance qualifications. We do all that quality work in January, which will be right in time for the November session. So that's what it feels like a little bit. Just overlaying that on top. So, in all seriousness, we have been trying to move some of the operational responsibilities out of our team to give us more capacity. We've had some success in that. The exam timetabling at the moment is rather problematic because all the people that have the skills necessary are doing the timetable for the next academic year whilst we're doing the exam timetable. It's not a full-time job. We only have one exam period at the moment. Although you remember I mentioned all those projects. One of the projects is to maybe do January exams at some point too. So our exam timetable is scheduled right in the submission point of reference point 2. like I said, we're going to get some more resources, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But at the moment, my PISA expertise and my exam scheduling expertise are one and the same people. We are running out of time to share that expertise with other people. So what have I been doing? I did the presentations at the University Council. They were all absolutely moved by data futures. Yes, we absolutely must do it. There's so much extra data we need. I mean, I maybe massage the figures a bit. It's amazing how many fields against the student there are if you count each valid to and valid from. It helps. I also showed them that overlay, which also got the same kind of reaction. So they're aware, but stuff isn't moving that quickly. What else have I been doing? Keeping up with specification changes and consultations. Whilst we don't have any formal project in place, nor will we likely have a formal project in place, partly because so much of our institution runs on institutional knowledge at the moment, bringing in anyone external, it would take so long to bring them up to speed, we may as well just do it ourselves. That's something we need to get away from, and something that is part of the data futures work. But in the meantime, I have been keeping up with the specification changes. I have a huge printout of the data model on my wall. It's 1.7 at the moment, because every time I print it out, a week later, there's a new specification change. So I'm not printing version 2 out, because otherwise we'll see another specification change. So I'm sticking with 1.7 for now, and I'm just going to cross through something. So I have a good trawl through revision history. Top tip on revision history: the deleted fields aren't listed as the main item, they're listed under their parent item. I talked to Rachel a little bit about this. So it's actually quite hard to spot them. So I now just do search for deleted. But those are the ones that make me happy. It's less data to return. The depth of course fits us perfectly. So I was really quite worried about how we were going to do the course if we had to do it from our in-house system, because that's not how we're set up. We're set up in the course delivery model, pretty much exactly as these want it, more or less part-time, but that's, we have about 12 of those. Getting involved in the consultations, part of that, whilst I might not know exactly how we're going to do some of the stuff, or any of the stuff in some cases, by getting involved in the consultations, it's forced me to think about it. Recording FTE. How would I do recording FTE as separate entities in 3 reference periods? How do I feel about the reduction in reason ends? Will that break us as an institution, or will it give us more consistency? And so on and so forth. So actually, keeping up with the specification has been a good way to keep engaged, even though we're not doing any action at the moment. Influencing existing projects. Like I said, we're never planning to have a project, and we have a lot of projects going on in the university and other areas. So something that we have been doing, and I have been doing, is using those projects to my advantage. So when the graduate school wanted to do some more placements, I went along and had a meeting with them, and we discussed what HESA requirements were as a starting point in data futures, what we might need for data futures. We have a student lifecycle project, just like these. And so actually talking about when those reporting periods were in that, so that we could map out that early on in that, and it's just raising that awareness a little bit. Student data governance, if anyone ever gives me any resource for that, is also going to be a really good way for us to build that. because it will help us to identify where some of the data is that we're currently not holding centrally, particularly placements, which will become even more important when we have medical school. And I will tell anyone that will listen. The number of people's whiteboards I've drawn data futures on is probably more than the number of coffees I've drunk. And anyone who follows me on Twitter will know that I drink a lot of coffee. People don't care about HESA in the institutions as a general rule. We're a subset of the university that care. It's nice to be amongst people who understand and care and love HESA data as much as I do. We, in our in-house system for HESA, we take a snapshot on the 31st of July of that data. We work from that frozen database at the moment to build that return. We also write SQL code to generate the XML. So we can fix pretty much anything without affecting the business at the moment, which has its advantages. If someone's done something stupid in September and we find out the following September, we can still get our record into a state that means that it'll be a valid HESA submission. That's great. I can't see that happening in data futures for us, even on our in-house system. I just don't think we can take that level of snapshots and do that amount of work 3 times a year, not to mention entrance qualifications. One of the risks, of course, of a snapshot is when you do all that work, the stuff that was genuinely wrong, you've got to remember to roll it back into your live system. There are some years where entrance qualifications have been worked on right up to the 31st of October. Are they in the live database? Probably not. We also have an admissions team who really don't care about HESA at the moment. We had a meeting 2016 where we said, data futures is coming, we are going to need to get the entrance qualifications right on the record up front so that we reduce the amount of work. And also, and if there's extra qualifications they're telling you about, can you code them rather than just upload a PDF onto the system? No. Are you sure? Head of admissions, no. We only care about the ones that they were being used for entry. I know you do, but we care about the other ones. No. The problem is, the Director of Admissions is now our academic registrar. I'm hoping that the responsibility will mean that there'll be a rethink in that, but I'm not holding out any hope at the moment. I think I'm going to need an army of orcs to work on our entrance qualifications from the end of August. I said I'd tell you about our resourcing. So, like I said, we are currently 2.6 FTE. We have, in the last 4 years, gone somewhere between 2 FTE to 7 FTE and everywhere in between, pretty much on a monthly basis. And we are back down to our leanest. What I did for, and it turns out I have been successful, although again, no one's actually told me. I have been forwarded an email from someone who tells me that when I put the jobs through HR, that someone will tick the right box that says yes, the money's there. We'll see. Is 3 extra FTE because, as you saw, we have exams going on as well. We've got to keep that going. Hopefully, we'll move exams out. And the model that I'm hoping to go for is that we'll have a low-level person who just deals with day-to-day, particularly the SLC, change of circumstances, entrance qualifications, kind of general data maintenance that we need to do. And then I'll have a grade 6 and a grade 7 working on the next return that's coming up. And the other grade 6 and grade 7 future-looking to the return after that. So we're always one return ahead. Whether that will work in practice, I don't know. But if we can be one return ahead, then we can focus on each one as it comes up. We can make sure that anything that needs fixing in the next return can be focused on right there and then. We can get that done so that we're then not just going from firefighting to firefighting. I have looked at the SIPS mapping document. One of our problems with our project has been the migration of data. In all likelihood, what we're probably going to have to do is build data futures in our in-house system and then use that as the basis for migration in SIPS at this point to give us that consistency. In one way, that's going to give us a real opportunity to have good visibility of all that data and to get that consistency. On the other hand, my team are now going to be doing the data migration that was going to be sitting in the project. It's the reality. It's an interesting time at the university here. Like I said, doing nothing did have its advantages. Am I worried that we won't be able to deliver? A little bit. I am a little bit worried. We don't know how we're going to do these futures at the moment. That is the bottom line for us. Because we've got to build it twice, we haven't seen a migration into SIPS that we can use to do any kind of test, even to do 2018-19 return. So we haven't been able to look at data futures from that. The advantage we do have at the moment is that because we now won't be going live with SIPS until data futures is the current academic year, and with all the risks and pain and sleepless nights that that's going to come with, is that where the data future specification means a change to the way SIPS is doing something, or where there's going to be some new fields, so I'm thinking the student characteristics particularly, we can actually go live putting data in the intended fields rather than doing any workarounds from the way we've been doing it for the last 20 years. So that is an advantage. I am clutching at straws a little bit. But that is something we are looking at. And now that we have delays going live, the impact of the project going live in January 2020 and data futures has hit people's agenda now. And so at the moment, everything I've asked for, I've got. So I'm hoping that we can drive changes that will support data futures in the project now, so that we will have the best system we can from a statutory return perspective when we go live in January 2020. We are also going to have to do a lot of talking to people. We are a semi-devolved institution. By that I mean we have humanities and social sciences undergraduate courses centrally managed, postgraduate all out in the individual schools, sciences out in their own individual schools, and PGR is just a wild place. Our centrally managed records are largely very good because they're just down the corridor, and when they have a question, they just come down the corridor and go, I want to do this, can I do that? And you know, I don't do that, you'll break the world. The first thing we find out about some of the things that are going on in the sciences schools at the moment is when we run the validation kit. It's the sciences schools, it's those real devolved schools where we're losing the expertise as well. Those people don't know why they're doing what they're doing, and so getting that fixed isn't as easy as it used to be, because we're having to explain what it is that it needs to be for a statutory return and work through with them to understand how they got to where they got to in the first place and to help them put things in place to do that. But the staff turnover is not great either. So we lost one key student administrator last year who replaced one of the ones that have been around for years. And so we are seeing exactly the same issues in our preparation pieces that we saw last year, because we told him and said, we need to fix this next year. And then he left and he didn't tell anyone. And now we're just back there again. So, and I'm sure you've all got stories of this in different schools where you're having these problems. Before I depress you all completely, I'll open up to the floor to questions. Now, I think just to wrap up, the people I have at the moment, and I'm not just saying this because they are in the room, are excellent. And I am confident that we can deliver a good statutory return with them. We need to get the additional resource, because what I need to do is free them up from the day-to-day so that we can move forward on data futures. We suffer from the Southeast Corner syndrome, where everyone gets paid more to work in London than they do with us. So recruitment could be interesting, but at least I've got two good people, so do not steal them. I have the delegate list. I will come looking for you. I think we can do it. It's scary. We are not in the place I would like us to be. But we do know our data. We know we know what should be going on out in the schools. And we do have a very good relationship with the people across the university. That's something we work very hard at, is building those relationships so that when something goes wrong, we can have a conversation with them and say, right, let's work together to fix this, rather than being the people who turn up and go, no, you cannot do this. We're still a long way from being involved early enough in processes to advise. I'd like to be involved in the course development side of things earlier on, so that when someone wants to do something crazy, we can talk about how we're going to return that in pieces before it started. Like our apprenticeships that I discovered we had 2 months after they started. Someone was doing an ILR, it turns out. They didn't have any shit records. So the dark art of the ILR. I hope that for those of you that are in a similar position, it's made you feel a little bit better that you're not on your own. I hope for those of you that are in any way a better place, that suddenly feel on top of the world. I'm open to questions now, and I am also open to contact after the event. If anyone wants to talk about how nice their institution is and have a good whinge, I'm always up for that. And you can follow me on Twitter, where I'll probably be ranting about recording FTE. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Nick. I'm not going to heckle you if you stuff this now. But I did have a question for you. With all of that stuff going on, I mean, is there a point at which you would have to say to your students, we just can't do this? There's a point at which whatever you give us now, it's got past the point where we're not going to be able to do that. I mean, do you ever think you'll find yourself in that situation? Certainly, you think I've worked with, there's a point at which no amount of money or people or time is going to save it, because we've got to do it now. Do you ever feel that might happen?
2 months ago, I was in that position. Christine will know this pain a little bit as well. We share a course, and the decision was made to move the administration to 2019-20. So everyone told us for a little while, which was really helpful. With all the will in the world, even with all the resource in the world, there was no way we could have delivered that, let alone a medical school for 2020 and data futures and a replacement student record project. There was absolutely no way. And I think at the university, I think we're lucky enough, our department has quite a, we'll get on with this and we'll do it attitude. So even in the worst of circumstances, we'll work away to get us to a place where we can hit those deadlines and get our returns in without killing ourselves too much, apart from that compulsory week off of sickness that you get after you've signed off your Easter return. That, when I was told 2019-20 for that course transfer, that was the first point where I was like, we can't do this. It took, from our side, and I can't speak for Christine and Greenwich, but from our side, it took a lot of work to get anyone to recognise that it was not possible. And I used the line, we can either decide it's not going to happen now, or we can get to June and it won't be ready to go live, and we'll decide then. Either way, we're not able to do this. I'll let you into a little secret. One of my colleagues in planning has been building a data mart so that we can have consistent reporting between our own in-house system and SITS. So when we're looking at year-on-year trends, we've got some consistency across that. Because we now share an office, he's been looking at the data specification on the wall. And so we're halfway there to having a database that actually contains what we're going to need for data futures. So when I say we have done nothing explicitly for data futures, but we do have the basis of a model that I think we can build on. The medical school scares me. It's a high profile thing. We are shouting about it from the rooftops. To not do that would damage the institution. So the chances of that not happening, unless the GMC take a bribe from me and decide that they want to delay us by a couple of years, we're going to have to do that. But there's no money for that either. Like some of you guys, I'm sure we had a hit in recruitment this year. We're £10 million down, and we're having those conversations about how we make sure we recruit well in the next year, but also what we do with the shortfall and what we plan to do. There isn't money out there for additional resource. Going back to your question, at the moment, I think we can do it. It is challenging working with our replacement project at the moment. The relationships are not strong because it has not gone live so many times, and there is a bit of mudslinging going on. But I think we can build something from our in-house system to do data futures. So I think we will do data futures. It's the other bits that might actually be at risk. If we're running data futures from our in-house system and we can't do it from SITS, we can't go live with SITS. Or are we backwards migrating out? Or have we just completely lost the benefit of going to tribal SITS and having that support where they build it, because we're going to have to build it ourselves because that's what we've been doing. And then we lose one of the benefits for us of going into SITS was to have that support and then building the statutory side of things. I guess I'll let you know, it's probably I can see light at the end of the tunnel at the moment, but if they throw one more thing at us at the moment, then I think we will probably break.
Mike again. Thank you for your honesty on this. There's a number of institutions around the UK at the moment who are in very similar situations, and we are one of them. I'm not sure if you can answer the question, but someone in the participants here may be able to answer the question. What is an institution's responsibility in terms of declaring risk to the honest student?
Anyone want to take that one?
We've told ESA, changed our system, they've made a note of it somewhere. But I don't believe we've actually told anyone that we're changing the system, or that there are risks involved, and how we register those risks. And is there a process involved? I have no idea.
To complete your readiness survey.
No, because we haven't got a system.
I don't know what the answer to this is, but my suggestion would have been you need to have a conversation with your students. Because I think they would be very upset if you didn't. And then found out about it.
I mean, no one's been, I don't think any institution has ever been in this situation before. We're changing systems, we're due to go live, hopefully having a student record for September 19th. But at the moment, we haven't even released our academic structures. So to actually get that off the ground and be ready to be able to start putting a return in January 20, you know, I'm really nervous about that. But I'm not sure what the process is of declaring, or should we, do I keep quiet? I just thought what Marion's just said, that we should actually have to start that conversation.
I should try to for honesty too. I mean, I'm not sure that any institution is actually better off one way or the other, because obviously all of us, even those that are private services, we wait for updates, and they can only come as quick as they can develop that research. You know, I think the war probably summed up a lot of what you said as well. There's a number of themes around resourcing, the increased burden rather than the reduction of burden, which seems to be quite obvious at the minute, and the sort of landscape really in terms of financial cuts and all that kind of thing. I'm just wondering, perhaps like other people, other points where people of a certain level in university, whether it's ARC members or whatever, are going to have to actually turn around to us and say, on a sector level, this isn't going to be fair because everybody's struggling so much, because, you know, at the minute, because everybody's relying on software suppliers, everybody's relying on settling down, everybody's relying on getting enough staff which they can't do. It just seems a lot of barriers for everybody, all coming from different angles.
Can I ask a question? I just kind of, in a way, leading us into the next session as well, which is, can you honestly say that if you had more time, you would be ready for the next deadline?
I don't think the committee can explain that if the institutions seem to affect the impact of it. I recently went to a life review school meeting, and HEC was there, and I've got an institutional risk register. So that's the way we get it flagged, so we need to know how to get a resource. I think in a couple of years, they might come on board, but then for the right people to listen to it. I haven't heard a single institution say, after one day, where you've got some sort of resource for it dedicated. It's sticking faster.
Just one thing I'm picking up is that it's not really about systems so much. 80% of your problem goes back to that issue you raised with that other project you have to start to capture it sort of first, the institution allow. That's data governance. It's something that are awful problems to come back to that.
Yes,
Rather than the systems issue.
we have a culture problem at our institution. We have more exceptions than we do rules. So you got it. Our record system project kicked off. The old academic registrar essentially didn't think they'd get approval for the funding to replace the student record system without promising a like-for-like system. He promised a like-for-like system, thinking we could do it under the radar business change. He didn't tell anyone else. And so for 2 years, we had a project that tried to deliver a like-for-like system in two completely different environments. And that's part of the first thing, was trying to deliver something that didn't. I was the first person to start doing business change work in 2016, end of 2016. That was the first time we had anyone thinking about business change. We're too late to do business change, and so we're doing what I call parachute business change at the moment, which is trying to stop it hit the ground too hard. Half of the institution is not aware of how big a change moving to SIPs will be for them. They have quite a lot of flexibility on our system at the moment that they're not going to have, and the cultural change is going to hit hard for us, and we haven't been able to manage that well. So yes, I agree. We could have gone with student data governance beforehand. We also could have gone with approaching this as a business change project rather than a systems project. But we are where we are, and it's about stopping it from hitting the ground too hard. Relationships are absolutely key though, and that's what our main job is going to be, I think, internally, is managing those relationships so that we can make those changes we need to make the statutory without upsetting too many people.
Okay, can I stand quick? And any more questions, maybe pass on the next break? Thanks very much.